Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to Weekly Wildlife Wisdom. And so far, I've been your host, Zero Yeti, and happy Aviation Day, which means this week we're going to be covering 7 species all capable of flight or at least gliding. Starting with Melanasuga helenianae, better known as the bee hummingbird, the Zunzu Shito, the smallest dinosaur, or the Helena hummingbird, is a species of hummingbird endemic to the entire Cuban archipelago, including the main island of Cuba and Isla de la Juventud in the West Indies. Here, bee hummingbirds live in fragmented patches of dense forest populated with woody vines and epiphytes. The diet of the bee hummingbird typically consists of flower, nectar, and tree sap, as well as insects and spiders. It is a diurnal bird that can fly at 40 to 48 kilometers an hour or 25 to 30 miles per hour, beating its wings 80 to 200 times per second. In a typical day, the bee hummingbirds will consume up to half their body weight in food, with males reaching around 2.13 inches or 5.5 centimeters in length and around 0.07 ounces or 1.95 grams in weight, whilst females reach around 2.38 inches or 6.1 centimeters in length and 0.09 ounces or 2.6 grams in weight. The bee hummingbird is both the smallest species of a hummingbird and the smallest species of bird alive today. Compared to other small hummingbirds, which often have a slender appearance, the bee hummingbird looks rounded and plump. The male has a green pallidum and bright red throat, bluish upper parts, and grayish-white underparts. Female bee hummingbirds are bluish-green with a pale gray underside and white spots on the tips of their tail feathers. I apologize if you can hear the train in the background. During the mating season, males have a reddish to pink head, chin, and throat. Bee hummingbirds' breeding season is from March to June, and during such time males court females by producing sound with their tail feathers. If successful, the two shall mate, with the female then constructing a cup-shaped nest out of cobwebs, lichen, and tree bark, some 9.8 to 16.4 or 3 to 5 feet or 3 to 5 meters off the ground. Here she will lay 1 to 2 eggs, which are incubated for around 21 days by only the female, followed by 2 days of hatching and then 18 days of care by the mother. Under ideal conditions, the bee hummingbird will reach sexual maturity around 1 year of age and live up to 10. Next up is Priharcta isabella, better known as the Isabella tiger moth, whose larval form is also called the banded woolly bear, the woolly bear caterpillar, the hedgehog caterpillar, or the woolly worm, is a species of moth that occurs in the United States and southern Canada. The Isabella tiger moth can be found in many cold and temperate regions, and the banded woolly bear larvae emerges from the egg in fall and overwinters in its caterpillar form by allowing most of its mass to freeze solid. First, its heart stops beating, and then its gut freezes, and then its blood, followed by the rest of its body. It survives by being frozen by producing a cryoprotectant in its tissues. In the spring, it thaws. They are generalist feeders, consuming many plant species, including various herbs and trees. Reaching around 1.75 to 2.25 inches, or 4.44 to 5.72 centimeters in length, adult Isabella tiger moths usually rest with the wings held roof-like over their bodies, or else held flat on their sides. The forewings are yellow or tan, pointed, and often have faint lines and small dark spots. Hind wings are lighter and are orange in females. The bases of the forelegs are reddish orange. As woolly bear caterpillars, they are fuzzy with dense, stiff hairs. They are usually black on the edges of the body and rusty red or brownish in the middle. When disturbed, they commonly roll up into a ball, and note that touching the bristles can cause dermatitis in some people. Adults fly around during the spring and summer, mating multiple times with multiple partners. Despite being capable of surviving up to 14 years as a caterpillar, The Isabella tiger moth will only spend less than 1 year as an adult. And then next up we have Hatzegopteryx monstrosus, better known as the hammerheaded bat, the horsehead bat, the hammerhead fruit bat, the big-lipped bat, or the hammerhead bat. It is a species of megabat widely distributed in the west and central Africa, and is the only member of its genus, Hatzegopteryx. They are a lowland species which tends to inhabit rainforests, swamps, and riverine woodlands. They are a nocturnal species which spends its days roosting in trees either alone or in groups of 4 to 25 individuals before taking flight at sunset to search for food in the form of fruits such as figs, bananas, mangoes, guavas, and berries. Hammerhead bats are themselves eaten by large snakes and birds of prey such as the long-tailed hawk. Reaching around 7.5 to 14 inches or 19 to 36 centimeters in body length and around ½ pound to 1 pound in weight, or 230 to 450 grams, and with a 27.2 to 38.2 inch or 69 to 97 centimeter wingspan, with males being twice as heavy as females. The hammerhead bat is the largest species of bat native to continental Africa, and males and females also greatly differ in appearance, making it the most sexually dimorphic of all bat species. Males sport numerous adaptations to produce and amplify vocalizations, such as their giant larynges and multiple large facial resonating chambers, resulting in males having a much more boxy head, whilst females have narrower snouts and more fox-like faces. Both adult male and female bats have dark brown fur that is paler on the sides and the back of the neck. The ears are triangular, and the black-brown eyes are very large. Hammerhead bats mate twice a year during the dry seasons and are believed to be the only bat species to have a lek mating system, wherein males gather in lek where they perform loud barking and honking vocalizations to attract females. People stop slamming doors. Females visit the lek and select a mate to mate with. After a 6-month pregnancy, a mother hammerhead bat will give birth to 1 to 2 young, and under ideal conditions, a female hammerhead bat will reach sexual maturity around 9 months of age, and males at around 18 months. Both sexes may live up to 30 years. Next up is Ammostrephiscens barterami, better known as the neon flying squid. The red flying squid, the Akaika, or the red squid. It is a species of large flying squid in the family Almostrephidae, and they are native to the temperate and subtropical waters worldwide. During the day, neon flying squid can be found at depths of 980 to 4,980 feet, or 300 to 1,490 meters in depth. These squids participate in the great diurnal vertical migration of the ocean, and at night they be found congregating in loose schools just beneath the surface of the water. Neon flying squid feed upon small oceanic fishes as well as crustaceans and mollusks, including other squid. Neon flying squid are themselves preyed upon by large fish such as swordfish, sharks, tuna, and marlin, as well as various seals, sea lions, whales, and dolphins. Males are smaller than females, reaching around 0.95 to 1.48 feet, or around 29 to 45 centimeters in length, compared to females, which get around 1.6 to 2 feet, or 50 to 60 centimeters in length. Neon squid are easily recognizable by the presence of an elongated silver-colored band in the middle of their ventral side of the mantle. Their arms do not possess lateral membranes and have 9 to 27 suckers on the ventral sucker series and 10 to 25 suckers on the dorsal sucker series. The species is known to bioluminesce, hence their common name. Like other almostriphids and onocoteuthid's, that are known as the flying squids, neon flying squids are so named for their ability to shoot out of the water, much like flying fishes. They sometimes unintentionally land on the decks of ships. This happens more frequently during rough weather or in the presence of predators in their vicinity. It is presumed that this behavior is an instinctive response to a threat. Flying squid have been observed to engage in behaviors that prolong the time it remains in the air, making it more akin to actual flight than just gliding. Neon flying squid are highly migratory, and they have a lifespan of about 1 year, during which time they complete a cyclical migration between their feeding and spawning grounds. Spawning is continuous and not seasonal, occurring virtually throughout the year in intermittent spawning events. Each female spawns approximately 350,000 to 3.6 million eggs, depending on their size. Males and females are both presumed to die soon after. Next up is Columba livia, better known as the rock dove, the rock pigeon, the rat with wings, or the common pigeon. It is a member, of the dove and pigeon family Columbidae, and the wild ancestor of the domestic pigeon, Columbia vivii domestica, which includes about 1,000 different breeds. Common pigeons are initially native to mainland Europe, North Africa, the Middle East, India, and parts of Central Asia, where they inhabit rock formations including cliffs, canyons, caves, buttes, and outcrops near water and open vegetation. Common pigeons were first domesticated at least 5,000 years ago, with some evidence pointing to as early as 10,000 years ago. And domestic pigeons have had a long history of being raised for meat, eggs as pets, and famously to carry messages across long distances in the form of carrier pigeons. Because of this, humans ended up bringing pigeons with them wherever they traveled, particularly during the age of sail, meaning that the common pigeon has a near global distribution, often residing in villages, towns, and cities, where they utilize buildings for shelter and nesting sites. Common pigeons are gregarious, living in flocks of 50 to 500 birds. They are omnivorous, feeding upon a variety of nuts, grains, seeds, fruits, worms, insects, arachnids, as well as discarded human food. Common pigeons are common prey for various raptors, seabirds, raccoons, carnivorous marsupials, reptiles, and felines, reaching around 11 to 15 inches or 29 to 37 centimeters in length, 8.4 to 13.4 ounces or 238 to 380 grams in weight, with a 24-28 inch or 62 to 72 centimeter wingspan. The common pigeon typically sports a dark bluish-gray head, neck, and chest with glossy yellowish, greenish, and reddish purple iridescence along the neck and wing feathers. A grayish to black beak with an off-white cere and purplish-red feet. However, centuries of domestication have greatly altered the appearance of the rock dove, and individuals may appear in all manner of colors and patterns. Rock doves breed at any time of the year, but the peak times are in spring and summer. They are typically monogamous species, which mates for life. However, these birds may form bonds with more than one mate, occasionally resulting in trios or quartets. Nesting sites are along rock faces, as well as the artificial structures like buildings. The nest is a flimsy platform of straw, sticks, and other materials built on a ledge where 2 eggs will be laid and then incubated by each parent for around 17 to 19 days. After hatching, the young are cared for by their parents until they fledge around 30 days. Under ideal conditions, a common pigeon may live upwards of 15 years. Next up is Cynocephalus volans, better known as the Philippine flying lemur, the Philippine colugo. The cogwang is a species of flying lemur which, along with the Sunda flying lemur, makes up the entire family Cynophalidae in the order Dermoptera. As the name suggests, the Philippine flying lemur is endemic to the southern Philippines, where it inhabits rainforest canopy as well as coconut, banana, and rubber plantations. These nocturnal and arboreal animals are rather slow and clumsy on the ground, not being able to stand erect, so they rarely leave the canopy level of the forest where they glide from tree to tree. They spend the day sleeping in hollow trees or clinging to branches and dense foliage, becoming active at night in order to forage for food such as fruits, flowers, plant shoots, and insects. Philippine colugos are themselves preyed upon by snakes and birds of prey, especially the Philippine eagle, reaching around 19.5 to 25.5 inches or 50 to 65 centimeters in total length and 2.2 to 3.7 pounds or 1 to 1.7 kilograms in weight. The Philippine colugo has a wide head and rostrum with robust jaws, small ears, and big eyes, with unique photoreceptor adaptations adapted for its nocturnal lifestyle. Its clawed feet are large and sharp with an incredible grip strength. One unique feature of the colugo is its pterygium, which is a web-like membrane that connects its limbs to allow for gliding distances of upwards of 330 feet, or about 100 meters. Its pterygium is the most extensive membrane used for gliding in any mammal. It also functions as a hammock-like pouch for its young. Little is known about the reproductive behavior of colugos, and mating usually occurs from January to March. After a 2-month pregnancy, a mother typically gives birth to a single young, which are then born underdeveloped and helpless. It attaches itself to its mother's belly in a pouch formed by the mother's tail membrane. It is eventually weaned at around 6 months of age, and under ideal conditions, the Philippine colugo reach sexual maturity around 2 to 3 years old. And our extinct animal of the week is going to be Hatzegopteryx, which is a genus of Asdarchid pterosaur, which lived throughout what is now Europe during the Maastrichtian stage of the late Cretaceous period, some 72 to 66 million years ago. First remains of Hatzegopteryx, consisting of 2 fragments from the back of the skull and a damaged left humerus, were found during a student dig during the late 1970s from the upper part of the middle Densis Kailua Formation of Valenorara and northwestern Hakteg Basin, Transylvania, western Romania. Additionally, a partial femur was found nearby along with a mandible. It wouldn't be until 2002 that these specimens would be formally described by French paleontologist Eric Beaufetant and Romanian paleontologists Dan Grigorescu and Zoltan Sisiki, who named the animal Hatzegopteryx, meaning hattag wing. The specimen name Thambina, or Thambima, is derived from the Greek word for terror or monster in reference to the animal's huge size. Additional specimens of Hatzegopteryx have since been recovered from other localities. Reaching around 10 to 16.5 feet or 3 to 5 meters tall, 500 to 700 pounds or 227 to 318 kilograms in weight, with a 33 to 39 foot or 10 to 12 meter wingspan, Hatzegopteryx was amongst the biggest of the pterosaurs and one of the largest animals to ever fly. Unusually amongst Asdarchids, Hatzegopteryx had a gigantic and wide skull bearing large muscular attachments. The bones with spongy internal texture instead of being hollow, and a short, robust, heavily muscled neck, measuring 1.5 meters or 5 feet in length. This meant that whilst other Asdarchids such as Quetzalcoatlus and Aramburarginia were taller and larger, Hatzegopteryx was stouter and more strongly built. This meant that Hatzegopteryx could tackle larger prey. In life, Hatzegopteryx inhabited Hatteg Island, an island situated in the Cretaceous subtropics within the prehistoric Tethys Sea. This island is famous for having dwarf dinosaurs, and Hatzegopteryx would have been the largest carnivore around as it occupied the niche of apex predator. As always, take care to my guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Hope you have a wonderful day, and happy Aviation Day.